All right, so take your steak, put a little bit of olive oil on it. That's olive oil there. You can pretty much use whatever kind of olive oil you want. Take some fresh ground pepper. It doesn't have to be fresh ground. You can just put whatever you want on it. Honestly, I use fresh ground pepper. Be pretty liberal with it. Put a lot on there. It's going to kind of burn away anyway, so I do quite a bit. And then take some kosher salt. Should be bigger crystals, basically. Should be what the kosher is. Do both sides, and that's really all I do to get the steaks ready for the grill. Yeah, do both sides, and you'll be done. They'll be ready for the grill. Pull your steak out about 30 minutes before you stick it on the grill. Let it kind of warm up a little bit. It shouldn't be in the fridge right before you go to put it on the grill. So get it out, get it ready, and it should be sitting for about 30 minutes. I usually do it about the same time I start my barbecue, maybe like right before I start the charcoal. All right, first things first. Empty out your old charcoal. Get you a set of these. I think I sent you a picture of them. Set them to the side. Make sure your charcoal on the bottom is cleared out. So it's pretty dry down there. Make sure those vents are open. This is your starter here. Load it up for steak. Doesn't need to be full. Probably right about to where that rust line is. Maybe about 3/4 of the way full. Put your charcoal in there and then light it. All right. The next thing you're going to want to do once you have your charcoal in there, you need to buy some of these. I have electric start, but for you, this is probably the cheaper way to go. You can buy a pack of these. Got 24 in there. They're just like these little cubes. Put it underneath there, underneath the charcoal, and light it, and let it sit for a while. All right, so that's the cube I was talking about. That's one of these here. Just light it. It'll kind of burn on its own. Stick the charcoal right back on top of it like that. Let that go for a minute. That's going to light your charcoal there. Done. All right, you're going to need a pair of gloves. That thing's going to get really hot. You can probably do it with one glove, but I like to have a pair of gloves just to move things around. The other thing you're going to need a good brush to clean the grill. Now, the one thing that I have is one of these. This is like a paddle. Basically, I use it to clean the grill after I use the brush, because sometimes the bristles from these brushes will fall off and they'll get stuck to your grill. And if somebody swallows them, they could be a problem. And the other thing that I have is this for outside. It's my charcoal caddy. Got my charcoal in there. It basically keeps my charcoal from getting wet outside. I don't have like a garage or anything, so I don't know where you're barbecuing, but maybe put yourself your charcoal inside one of those. Works really great. You can just leave it outside, no worries. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes. You can see those coals are pretty good. They're going on their own, nice and steady. Those can probably start to come off any minute now. Usually they say all your charcoal should have a little bit of gray on them, but honestly, most of those will probably burn when you put them back into these side trays. Actually, they won't be on the side. Well, they might be depending on how you're cooking it, but yeah, those could probably come out. Like I said, it's probably been about 15 minutes now. That should be about all it takes to get to this point. You can see there's a nice flame kicking off the top. Those are pretty much ready to start barbecuing on. All right, so for what I'm cooking, I want a section over here that's gonna be able to cook some vegetables at a little slower rate. I got my charcoal in the bin, so I put them all together on the side. Normally I would have it just right in the center if I was gonna do steak and steak only, but like I said, I want a cooler section over there for my vegetables. I also picked up like some of these. It's just Applewood barbecue cooking chunks. Try to find like a bigger piece, like this one, and just kind of stick it right in there with that. What this is gonna do is gonna kick up some smoke. Just like that. We're gonna go ahead and put the grill in there. Let that heat up a little bit, and then we'll clean it off. You can close the lid now. Make sure your vents are all the way open, and that's gonna start heating up pretty quickly. It'll get, I usually don't put the temperature thing right above my charcoal. I try not to, but that'll get about 350, 400. All right, so skipping ahead a little bit, cleaned the grill already. Both brushes. I do have my broccoli on there. That's going to be my side dish. If you're going to cook broccoli or some vegetables, cook a lot, it will shrink down. I put it directly over the heat for right now. I will move it over once those have cooked a little bit and the steak goes on. Cook your broccoli a lot longer than you cook your steak. Those need to cook for like 30 minutes probably. Steak's only going to be about 15. One other thing, if your charcoal starts to flame up a little bit, just close the vent and let it kind of just suffocate itself, then open the vent back up. Don't spray it with water or anything like that. The lack of oxygen is plenty to kill the flames, but usually with the thing fully open, I never have a problem with oxygen. It's just about perfect for the charcoal that's in there. All right, so been cooking this broccoli for about 15 minutes now. You can see it's starting to get some crispy edges, so that's pretty good to go ahead and start it. The steak's going to cook about 15 minutes. So let's give the broccoli another 15 minutes. I moved the broccoli over away. About the best I will do is just kind of turn it around so it kind of, so it kind of gets all the edges cooking a little better, or just make sure you're mixing it around so it kind of gets the hotter pieces or the cooler pieces back over to the hot side. Now my steak getting ready to go on. Just throw it right over the charcoal. And don't mess with it. Close the lid. Get those flames back down. Use tongs, not a fork, to move steak around. You don't really want to poke it or mess with it a whole lot. Also, make sure that these vents are kind of on the opposite side of your charcoal. That's going to draw smoke and all that stuff across all your food and then out. So make sure it gets all your food kind of that smoky flavor. All right. So that wood that's in there is what's really kicking up that smoke. So don't worry about that a whole lot. You can see when we open this, a lot of smoke in there. All right, timer's gone off. I have not touched this steak since I put it on there. I've got the flame kicking up around it. Kind of move it away a little bit. You can see I do have flames kind of going in there quite a bit, so I probably will close that, flip that steak. I'll probably close these vents just a little bit, or for a little while, to kind of get that flame dying down a little bit. Steak had a little bit of burnt area on it, but it's no big deal. Just on the outside, not a huge deal if it's got a little bit of burnt edges on it. Some people actually like it a little more crispy on the outside. Obviously don't burn it too much, but that should be good. Like I said, don't mess with that steak a whole lot once you have it in there. Just let it kind of sit there and cook for 6-7 minutes. That's a pretty thick steak, so what I might do is let it cook for 6 or 7 minutes on both sides, then kind of move it off the charcoal a little bit, let it cook a little indirectly while I add some barbecue sauce to it, and that'll probably be the end of it. So 6 or 7 minutes both sides on a steak that thick. That was probably about a 1-inch steak. And then pull it off to the side, add some barbecue sauce to it. With barbecue sauce, basically, you don't want to cook barbecue sauce very long. If you're going to be cooking anything longer than 30 minutes, don't add barbecue sauce until about the last 30 minutes. Now, these steaks won't even come near that, so it's no big deal. You could put barbecue sauce on it right from the very beginning, but barbecue sauce will start to burn pretty quickly and a lot earlier than most other things, so don't cook barbecue sauce more than 30 minutes. All right, so the steak is just about done. I'm going to go ahead and move it off these coals. Kind of move it over here somewhere. Looks pretty good. Like I said, it did get a little crispy on this edge. No big whoop there. Not a huge deal. I'm going to go ahead and move it off the coals. Do a little indirect cooking. I'm going to put some barbecue sauce on there. Got my Sweet Baby Ray's right here. And we're going to go ahead and put that on there. I can't film this and do that at the same time. But yeah, just put it on there. Let it cook a few minutes on each side and pull it off. And you're pretty much done at that point. All right, got the barbecue sauce. You can see that broccoli looks pretty good. Has quite a few little dark edges on it. Looks great. Steak looks good. Gonna cover it up for just a few more minutes. And then I think I'm gonna pull it off there. All right, so to top it off, we got some sauteed mushrooms here. Basically just probably some oil and garlic. My wife cooked these and the mushrooms. Gonna put that on top. Got the steak and the vegetables, and that should be just about everything. Steak is here, and that's it. Oh, and make sure you have a place to open your beer and catch your bottle caps.